Then we talk about website. When you say website, it's just a collection of related web pages. It's just a collection of related web pages that can be found uh, on the web server. So, for instance, CTU has a website, and that website has also related web pages or many pages related uh, to each other, and in each page it talks about anything that it wants to talk about. So we have different pages as part of the CTU website. We can physically liken this to a book. When you take a book, the entire book is the website, and then the individual pages can be referred to it as the web pages. So we can look at it in the light of that. Okay, now the the first page of every website uh, can be referred to it as the home page or the index page. The home page or the index page. The index page is used more often these days. So when you go to any website, you see the URL, and the last part you see index.html. It means you are on the first page of that website. And then from the index page, you can uh, be able to navigate your way through links to other pages of the same website or to other websites developed by other people also. Then we have search engines. Search engine help us to look out for information on the web. So it's a software that assists users to locate information on the web. Examples of search engines are Google, we have Ask, and then we have Yahoo, and many others. These days, there are some developers who, after building their website, they include search engines as part of the web pages, as part of their web page, so that even on their web page you can search for whatever information you want. And then the internet uh, has many services that it render. We have the www service that it renders, where we are able to access text, graphics, image, audio, video, animations from. And then we have the email. We will look at each of them briefly in our next slides. We have the usenet, the mailing list, the video conferencing, the IRC, and then instant messaging. So as for the World Wide Web, we have already talked about that. Uh, that is the uh, pages we can have access to on the internet. Okay, so down there we have HTTP. I think I've already mentioned that, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And then we also have an abbreviation which is the HTML, and it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The Hypertext Markup Language is call as what we refer to as the language for the web. Is what we refer to as the language for the web. Now, the hypertext markup language helps us to create our website or help us to create our web pages. So it allows designers to create web pages and also to link uh, web pages through hyperlinks. All these are done with the help of the hyperlink. Okay, and then every website has an address, which is the URL or the Uniform Resource Locator. Okay. Then the other service you can have as from the internet is the email, electronic mail, where we can send electronic messages over the internet. And before you can do that, you must first create an email account. So in creating the email account, you first have your username, which you choose by yourself, and then you also have the domain name. So if it's Yahoo, it is yahoo.com. Okay. Then we have usenet. This is more of an archaic in nature. It was used in the olden times, even though some use Usenet includes tens of thousands of news groups which allow automatic distribution of news amongst the groups. So, uh, with the help of the Usenet, we can get news from topical issues posted in the group, and then it will allow for participation, or it will allow for sharing of your views on that news item or on that topic. Now we hardly use it. That is why I said it was mostly used in the olden times. So before you can use a Usenet, you need to have a news reader program. You need to have a news reader program. Then with the help of the news reader program, you can read articles on news that has been posted, and then you can share your views. Then we look at the next one, which is the IRC, Internet Relay Chat. Now this is also a service that allows users to communicate in real time by sending their text or messages instantly in a special window where others can also quickly or promptly uh, respond to it by also sharing their views. So we have a special IRC program to help us participate in chat room discussions. So this is also for chat room discussions. Then we have video conferencing, which helps uh, users to see themselves and communicate with each other in a video conference. And to do that, one needs to have a video camera, you have your microphone, and then you have your speakers in place. Then you can communicate over the internet with whoever you want to communicate with. So the internet also provides video conferencing service. Then we also have the instant messaging, which allows two or more people to communicate in real time. So two or more people can have a chat amongst themselves. So they have a display screen where they have the chat amongst themselves. So once you send, the person will see it and then also respond or share his view on your chat. So example of an instant messaging program is the MSN Messenger. Then we also have what we call the mailing list. So with the mailing list is a kind of collection of all mails whereby if one wants to send an information to different people, he doesn't send it one by one, but he sends it to the mailing list, which comprises of different mails of individuals, and then once you send, it goes to all of them. uh, the message is sent to a list server or a list serve that sends emails to all subscribers. So all subscribers' emails are stored in the mailing list, and then once you send the message to the server will now also uh, send it to all those who have subscribed at once without having to do it one by one. Then we also look at methods of connecting to the internet. Methods of connecting to the internet. How you can connect to the internet. One of the methods is through the use of telephone or dial-up connection. Telephone or dial-up connection. And then with this one, it uses telephone lines to help us to connect to the internet. Now I realize that telephone lines are analog in nature. Uh, So before you can even use the telephone lines with your computer system, you need a modem. You need a modem to help you to transfer digital information from your computer onto the telephone lines. And then when it's getting to the destination, the other person will also need a modem to be able to receive the information which is from the analog telephone lines onto his system. So the modem on the other end will convert the signals from analog to digital for the other person to view the information. So there are two ways. If you are sending using the telephone lines, your computer is digital, the telephone line is analog. So you need a modem to move it from digital to analog so that it can be carried on the telephone line. And then when it's going to the other user or the other person, or let's say the other its destination, the destination computer is also digital, but this is the case, the information is coming uh, on an analog telephone line. So it means it also has to convert it from the analog to digital, and all these are done with the help of what we call a modem. So modem uh, helps us to transfer from digital to analog and then from analog to digital. Okay, so I think what I said is in this second point here, because PCs transmit and receive data in digital format, a device called a modem is needed to convert digital data to analog format for transmission over the phone lines. And then when receiving the data from another computer which is carried on the telephone line, the modem will convert it from analog to digital format. Okay. Now modem simply stands for modulate and demodulate. Modulate simply means converting digital signal into analog. That is when you are sending over the telephone lines, you convert from digital to analog. And then we have the second part, which is demodulate. That is converting from analog to digital. So that is when you are receiving from the telephone lines, you need to convert from analog to digital. So modems send files to or receive files from a remote computer. Now when you send a file to another computer, it is called uploading. And then when you receive a file from another computer, it is called downloading. It's called downloading. So we have a picture of all that I have said. Sending, you need a modem, convert from digital to analog over the phone lines, and then when it's getting to the destination, you need a modem to transfer it from or to move it from analog to digital. Okay. Then another method of connecting is the ISDN, Integrated Service Digital Network. It is a system that replaces analog phone services with digital. So previously we looked at the analog way with the use of the telephone lines, but this one uses digital services. Okay. Then we have the Wi-Fi, which helps us to transmit data through waves. Now, Wi-Fi, the full meaning is what we refer to as the wireless fidelity. The wireless fidelity. Then the other method of connecting is also called the wireless local area network, the WLAN, which provides wireless network communication over a short distance. That is why it is used in a local area network, which is in a very small geographical place within a room. where we can share information amongst computers in a network. Then we have the satellite connection, where we use a satellite dish uh, to help transmit radio waves, which is also called microwaves, from Earth-based stations. Then we talk about intranet, extranet, and internet. Now, these are some interesting concepts when it comes to internet. Now, there are similarities between these three. The similarities is that they all use the transmission control protocol, internet protocol. They all use the same rules in transferring data. But when it comes to the difference, we look at it in terms of the level of access, of how they allow various users inside and outside the organization to have access. And then it's also looks at the size of the network, and that will uh, be the difference between these three. So when we look at an intranet, it allows for only a restricted access to only members of an organization. So if I have an organization, I can have a network that only the members of that organization can have access to. No external person or no outsider can have access to that network. Then we also talk about the extranet, which is also a type of a network that, in addition to allowing the insiders to have access to it, it gives permissions or limited access to some outsiders to also have access to that network. So a company can give permission or limited access to suppliers or customers to have access to that network. So it is not the general public that can have access, but some selected people who can have access. And then we have the internet, and that is uh, the type of network where everybody can have access to. Everybody can have access to it. So note the difference among these three. Okay. Then we have the baseband and broadband, transmission. Now, when you say baseband transmission, it only allows the transmitting of a signal one at a time. So it allows signal transmission one at a time, and we use standard telephone lines. Example is the twisted pair, and that can be used in baseband transmission. And then broadband, as even the word suggests, broad. Now, broadband allows several signals to be transmitted at a time. So examples of broadband include satellite, fiber optic, and then digital subscriber line transmission.